So this is a presentation jointly done with UNDP, ICADA and UNDP putting our heads together because ICADA is an organization based in Middle East, North Africa, West Asia. So that's our space. And UNDP is a global organization, but also with interest in that space. And once I have learned how to use this, the agricultural sector plays a very important role for food security in the Siwana region, and the wheat is economically the most important crop, and job creation is important along the value chain of wheat, which goes from production to processing, packaging, distribution, with spillover effects on services, transport, and communication. Achieving food and nutritional security and job creation is an increasing challenge as population grows. The Arab world is a particular difficult situation because climate change is already a reality. Desertification, land degradation, and land salinity seriously affects most agricultural lands. And the region is the world's largest food importer, vulnerable to lots of market shocks. Wheat is politically sensitive and a strategic crop, being the main source of calories and energy for the poor and central to food security and stability. Food loss and waste are high along the entire value chain. Global crises as the 2008 food price shock, the COVID-19, and the war in Ukraine have exposed the region high risk to food insecurity. We therefore call for building resilience into wheat-based production systems and designing and implementing policies, institutions, and technologies to reduce food loss and waste. So in the following, the challenges are the low productivity and the resource degradation in the wheat-based systems. And it's all about the modernization of the farm practices and the adoption of innovative tools and integration of scientific advances throughout the wheat value chain. So it's about to introduce precision agriculture, improved agronomy, to develop and disseminate high-yielding, stress-tolerant wheat and legume varieties, strengthening seed and input delivery systems, empower smallholder farmers, improve market access, and policy institutional support. Now, as far as precision farming is concerned, so we talk here about smart irrigation. We talk about smart detection of insect and pests. We talk about smart fertilization that can or cannot be applied together with the irrigation. We talk about smart sensing. For instance, use weather pattern analytics to automatically generate alerts for potential disease outbreaks. And smart advising is using cloud computing-based analytics to generate advisory to help farmers to optimize their inputs and increase incomes through precision farm management. Second is the soil, water, and ecosystem management. As you can see in the top left corner, so in the rain-fed system, there's always a yield gap, and under rain-fed conditions, this yield gap is much higher than under irrigated conditions. And so with optimum management of the rain-fed systems, it's possible really also to manage the wheat production. That can be done, for instance, by crop diversification, by fallow utilization, mapping of hotspots in the region, and by applying bundled of solution to address ecosystem management. When we talk about to develop and disseminate high-yielding and stress-tolerant varieties, now when we talk about wheat-based systems, you cannot grow wheat alone. Wheat is always rotated with an alternative crop, which in the best case scenario is a legume species. And so if you see, for instance, each of the crops, they have an optimum in terms of rainfall. So at the higher end, so in the North Africa, West Asia region, we have rainfall between 100 millimeters and 700 as a top. So bread wheat, I mean that is the wheat for bread making, is as well as faba bean need more rainfall than other crops. So it's at about 350 to 500 millimeters. A little bit less durum wheat and chickpea at about 400 millimeters. Barley and lentils is at the lower end, 250 millimeters. And at the lowest end is cactus and date palm. So these are the crops along the rainfall gradient that are adapted to the dry areas. And so as you can see, as we said, bread wheat rotated with other crops, legume species, but there is an optimum of the rainfall gradient. To develop, I mean, what a center like ICADA, the International Center for Agricultural Research, is doing is we develop and disseminate high-yielding, stress-tolerant wheat varieties and other varieties. We have an international nursery system. Annually, we distribute wheat, chickpea, lentil, faba bean, barley, and wheat to cooperators, about 100 cooperators in 50 countries. So these are annually the best lines that come out of our breeding programs. And the programs can test, they receive these lines free of charge. They can test that under their conditions and select the best, either to release as new varieties or to use it in their crossing programs to improve their own local material. So that's a system provided by the international centers. But modernization, especially breeding modernization today, is all about use of speed breeding, genomic selection, data tools, and physiology. So in that sense, we have established a speed breeding facility with a capacity of advancing 150,000 plants. Speed breeding, so the conventional way of breeding is you grow 1 generation per year, or if you have offsite, 2 generations per year. But in speed breeding, you can do 5 generations per year. Is you grow your material in a glass house, and you have these LED lamps to mimic a long day. And by this one, you can speed up the population development. Usually, now in 65 days to 70 days, you can do 1 plant cycle from seed to seed. 70 days times 5, so it's roughly 5 generations per year you could do. And this speed breeding speeds up the whole breeding process enormously, because usually from first cross to develop a new variety, to release a new variety, takes normally about 15 years. And so with these processes, we can reduce it by at least 5 years, if not more. And this facility is available also for countries in the region. That's not only a facility for ICADA, but also countries that are interested. They can use the facility to develop and speed up their own crops under this facility. But reducing of the cycle, this year you can see plants under the speed breeding facility. Even in the early generations, we can apply diseases to see if the plants are resistant or susceptible. And um, um, yeah, the reduction of the generation time is one component. As I said, there are other components such as using genomic tools. Genomic selection is an important component. So nowadays, no breeding is being done with genotyping or the accession and selecting based on useful alleles. And also modern breeding is done with a lot of tools for physiological analysis. As you can see here, we have nowadays spectral cameras, and we can do a whole plot, not only whole plant, but plot analysis. With such equipment, you can generate data point that a number of scientists need to analyze. So it's not anymore the capacity of generating the data, but the capacity of analyzing the data. And so once varieties are released, is also develop inclusive delivery systems. There are a number of initiatives that support the delivery system of wheat. For instance, the program Technologies for African Agriculture Transformation, TAT2, funded by the African Development Bank, launched in 6 countries, engaging in wheat value chains, and provide wheat seed production for Ethiopia, Mali, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, and Nigeria. And with that system, using innovation platforms, farmers are acquainted with the new varieties and new technologies, and then this helps really to provide the seeds to the farmers, the interested farmers, and that's an important cornerstone in supporting the wheat value chain. Important is also to empower smallholder farmers. Here we offer comprehensive training programs that help to equip smallholder farmers with the latest agronomic knowledge, technological innovation and best practices, facilitate access to affordable financing, promote gender-sensitive approaches, provide agricultural insurance and risk financing. Here, for instance, I just come from Damascus. For instance, the WFP have this year for the first time started a drought insurance program in Syria, to help farmers to protect against climate risk and to de-risk their investments, to support market-oriented production and value addition, and to offer credit and financial services to women farmers. We conduct a number of programs that, and here one is called MedWells, is a project funded by the European Union, and MedWells aims to redesign traditional Mediterranean foods, such as pasta, couscous, bulgur, frike, all made from wheat, and to improve, to make healthier semolina blended with barley or with lentil. And that also is being used to improve management of women cooperatives for increased women empowerment. And for instance, it's here to connect cooperatives, the private sector, and public institutions to build effective interconnected ecosystems, to provide training for cooperatives in management and production skills, to support cooperatives' marketing strategies, and to provide machinery and packing solutions to help cooperatives overcome challenges and grow their business. We don't do this work alone. For instance, especially the work with the women cooperative, especially in Morocco, in Tunisia, and in Lebanon, we do with Oxfam, and we bring other organizations in as needed and as applicable. Also important is to improve market access and value chain efficiency, is to develop resilient and efficient value chain to maximize production and profitability in wheat and legume farming systems, to enhance market linkages as a cornerstone of value chain development, to upgrade post-harvest infrastructure such as modern storage facilities, climate-controlled warehouses, advanced processing units, to safeguard the quality and longevity of harvested grains and pulses, to facilitate public-private partnerships, to improve market linkages and certification standards, to expand access to digital platform, and to develop a regional interactive wheat market information system. There are many digital platforms. Here is one platform developed by ICADA for Egypt, that delivered site-specific agronomic recommendations, and more such digital platforms, advisory systems are really helpful in order for farmers to access information related to weather data, to site-specific agronomic recommendation and others, and really making progress in to help farmers in their crops. Finally, the policy and institutional support is to support regulatory reforms and build institutional capacity, to align national policy with regional food security goals, to empower local agricultural agencies, cooperatives and extension services, and to strengthen regulatory and institutional frameworks. For instance, to produce conducive adoption and scaling environments is the political economy of the wheat sector in Egypt. Major highlights here are 10 out of the 21 varieties under cultivation, covering 63% originate from the international system, from CIMMYT and ICADA. The average variety and seed replacement rates are 7 and 2.3 years. At least one wheat technology component adopted on 58% of the national wheat area. Additional 0.7 million tons of wheat worth $85 million produced annually, and a fair share of the private sector in the seed market. And as you can see, this is a series of books developed for a number of countries, Arab countries. Now, an example of the evidence of impact is over the last 12 years, we run a project called Enhancing Food Security in Arab Countries. This project was funded by the Arab Fund, OFID, Islamic Development Bank and BMGF. It involved 10 countries, Algeria, Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Morocco, Palestine, Sudan, Syria, Tunisia, and Yemen. And 3 technology components were introduced: cereal and legume varieties, agronomy, soil and water management, including conservation agriculture and raised bed. About 500,000 hectares were planted with improved varieties, and at least two of the FSAC technologies led to yield increases. Additional production were about 1.5 million tons of wheat, and an additional income of $450 million. Total investment of this project over 12 years was $20 million. Every dollar investors brought back $22 in returns. It directly impacted the lives of at least 2 million people, and the increasing impacts over time show the importance of long-term funding for such projects. Conclusion, agriculture plays a critical role in food and animal feed, employment and economic growth across Tijuana. Jobs are created along the entire value chain, from production to processing, packaging and distribution, with spillover effects on services, transport and communication. Achieving food and nutritional security and job creation are increasingly challenging as population grows. The Enhancing Food Security in Arab Countries project, for which ICADA receives the Al-Marai Prize from Saudi Arabia, recognizing the scientific creativity. Scaling similar initiatives is essential for further strengthening the food security across Arab countries. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Michael, for showcasing, the tremendous efforts ICARDA is doing to enhance the wheat production, whether it's through breeding technique, but also it's beyond that, not just production. It goes to supporting small-scale farmers, but also working on providing platforms and technology that can enable the farmers to use them, and so. And congratulations on the prize as well for that effort. I would love to see if there's any questions for Dr. Michael. Yes, the microphone, please.
Thank you, Professor, for a wonderful presentation. As a scientist, as a PhD economist, I would like to highlight the slide that you referred to, the accelerating market access and providing extra opportunities for those communities worldwide that don't have enough land resource. Have you ever heard about underground farming? This is one of the concepts that I've been studying right now, and I would like to discuss it, or just to bring this to our common attention. Underground farming is a very sustainable solution for those countries, including UAE, God bless this country, that can enable communities and government with extra resources to speed breeding and to the diversification of the wheat production. So if you have something to comment on this, I would highly appreciate your thoughts. Thank you.
So honestly, I have not heard the term underground farming, but I imagine it's the same as vertical farming, only that it's underground. So under it's making use of extra space, and of course, especially with the speed breeding possibility, and you also, when you go through here, you see it's using the LED lamps, which can mimic a long day. And by this one, because many of our plants are short, either day neutral or short day plants, so you really can hasten the population development, and this opens tremendous opportunities. Also to think about producing, to have crop production even in cities, in wherever there is an extra space, and especially as transport costs and need to be factored in. So that's definitely solutions. I think we need to be open for solutions, for all solutions that that we can think of in order to secure plant production in the future, because as land gets limited and population grows, and so definitely that is a possibility, and I'm sure that especially for the mega cities, these are potentials for that we need to think about and utilize.